welcoming my husband, Ryan Doro. He'll be speaking to you about the foundations of health and wellness, and he's very good at introducing himself, so I'm going to let him do the rest.
How are we doing, everybody? Good. I hope you all are having a lovely evening, despite the rain. Can you hear me?
No.
Not quite? I could project a little bit. Does that help? I'm Ryan Doro, and I'm here because of a decision I made when I was a young boy, when I decided I was going to live a better lifestyle than I was currently living at the time. And it's pretty exciting as I stand here with you because I know these practices are manifested from a foundation of experiences I've had in my life up until now. And I want to share these thoughts and ideas with you because they've shaped me into the man I am today. And by the time you leave this seminar this evening, I hope that you've gained something. And maybe that's inspiration, or maybe some value, or some new ideas. But either way, I want to make it worth your time through these words. But before we get into all that, I just want to make one thing clear. And if you're taking notes, you can write this down. Time is more valuable than your health. Time is more valuable than your health. And for a lot of us, the ways that we manage our time here today is going to be a major determining factor in how our health works out. Our health is going to be determined by the decisions that we make today with our time. Time is something that we have no control over, but deciding to exercise and have good nutrition habits and live the health and fitness lifestyle is. So again, thank you for spending this time with me. I hope to make it worth your time. And one of my main goals here today is to inspire you into an attitude of self-love, because that's what health and fitness is all about, self-love. And to go along with that, I'll give you a brief overview of my story, just so you know where I'm coming from, very briefly. I grew up in Berlin, Wisconsin. Some of you might know where that is. Small town of only about 5,000 people. And my family and I were in the middle class. And every once in a while, my friends and I would convince our parents to buy us the latest video game to keep our minds active. But I was always pretty physically active too. Physical education was always my favorite subject in school because it was always fun for me. And it made me feel good. I also grew up with an alcoholic in the house. And I never quite understood what was happening at the time, but I knew it wasn't healthy. And I'm not going to go into the details of that side of my story because we simply don't have the time here, but to summarize, it's just not a good way to live. It's a toxic environment. And I began asking myself some very important questions at a young age. Questions like, how do I get out of here? How do I stop wasting away like this and start living a healthier lifestyle? Because that's what it is, right? A lifestyle. It's not just something that you try out for a day and forget about. It's a way of life. I was just a small boy trying to find his way. And there's a power that we all possess. And my realization of this power was when I religiously began going to the gym in high school, age 16 years old. Every day after school, I'd spend 2 hours training in the gym. Nothing felt more fun and energizing than playing some loud music and seeing how much weight I could lift or how big I could pump up my chest and my biceps. And I know what many of you are probably thinking, this guy is the biggest tool I ever seen in my entire life. And that's fine. But let me give you my bigger picture. Through that experience, what I gained in the gym was an understanding of myself that will last a lifetime. I don't see much else that will make you feel better throughout life than making forward progress, getting stronger, growing more muscle, shedding whatever excess body fat that I had, And being able to look in the mirror and feel the results through all of my senses was an incredible introduction to my new fitness journey. This new opportunity that I found to be my avenue of living a healthier lifestyle and getting away from the negativity and unhealthy aspects of living with an alcoholic parent. And that's how I decided to join the kinesiology program at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. And for those that don't know, kinesiology is the study of body movement. And I ended up getting my bachelor's degree in 2015, and I'm now in my 10th year working in the fitness industry. And I've worked in several gyms in different states, ranging from a few dozen members to over 27,000. I've also managed a couple of gyms along the way, and now thankfully, my wife and I just decided to move up to Wisconsin just over a year ago to be closer to family. And I'm also training clients over at the Western Racket and Fitness Club here in Ashwaubenon. And I'm also a membership director there, and I can confidently say that it's the best gym that you're gonna find in this area. It's a lovely gym and a great place to be. And I also like the gym setting because people tend to be genuinely happier when they're trying to take care of themselves. And you're not gonna find more amenities to do that with than at Western. But that's enough about me. Now that you have a little background, let's begin to focus your attention on the more important things that y'all came here to learn about. I like to call these the 5 fundamentals of health and fitness. These are the 5 major foundational keys to living a healthier lifestyle. And there are many different things that you can do to be healthy, of course. But we're on a bit of a time constraint today, and I wanted to keep it simple for everyone to understand, so I've narrowed it down to 5. The 5 fundamentals of health and fitness. Another way to put it is the basics. We call these the basics in the fitness industry. Practicing these key rituals every day will make the biggest difference in your health and fitness journey. And I'll throw in a bonus demonstration at the end as well here, but before the first one, I want you to realize that what I'm about to tell you, these are not laws. There's no right or wrong answer here, and who am I to tell you what to do with your time and energy? But if you wish to, you can change your whole life like I did by integrating these things into your daily routine. And don't just take my word for it either. You have to think and use your mind. Take what I'm saying here today and form your own conclusion. I've learned over the past 13 years of working out that you can become more than you are because you can experience more than you know. And that's the challenge I'm giving you here today. To get better, to get stronger, to get wiser, to become more, to get into the body that you've always wanted, if that's been an area of struggle for you. Because what's the alternative? And unless you change your behavior, you'll be who you've always been. So let's begin. First, number 1, and again, these are the 5 fundamentals of health and fitness. Number 1 is attitude. Attitude. This is the most important one, so we're going to spend some time here. Bear with me. Who can say what it means to be truly healthy? Who knows? Some people might say to be truly healthy, you must be a vegetarian, or low carbs and no red meat, or no sugar. Cut out all the sugar. Don't eat it ever, or you'll die. Other people might say to be truly healthy, you must be free of burdens or illness within the body, or to be in perfect shape with 6-pack abs and the physique of a god, or to feel good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm healthy. And they'll do a little stance like this. I'm convinced your attitude towards these ideas and the principles you live by is the biggest determining factor in how your health works out. That's my personal opinion. And perhaps you find the magic pill that gives you the chiseled body that you've always wanted. And then the pills run out. It's going to be best that you become a health enthusiast quickly so you can keep the body. So then you've earned it. Did you know that in Okinawa, Japan, they have the most centenarians out of anywhere else in the world? People that have lived to be over 100 years old. Can you imagine? 100 years old? I'm trying to make it to 120 on a personal level. But they did a study in this book I read recently called Ikigai. And maybe some of you have heard of it, but Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. These people went around interviewing all of these centenarians in Okinawa. And what they found was that their attitude was the most important secret to living a long and happy life of over 100 years. My great-grandmother, she has a birthday coming up next month in November. She'll be turning 107 years young. She's the sweetest, most positive person I know, and she doesn't miss a beat. I remember when she turned 100, I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with her on her 100th birthday. And I asked her, so here we are, Grandma. You're in triple digits now, which is pretty awesome. How does it feel? What's your secret? And what she said, I'll never forget. She said, you know what, Ryan? I can finally stop and smell the roses. It feels great. All you have to do is make sure to keep faith. Have faith in something that's bigger than you are. And just keep moving. You can never stop moving. You cannot get stagnant. And after she said that, I recalled her daily practice of waking up in Florida, and she'd immediately drink a cup of water. She'd eat her hearty breakfast for the day, and then she'd go outside to water her plants and get some sunshine. And she'd do a few exercises for the day, and then she'd take a nap until lunchtime. Every morning she would do these rituals. And it was so amazing to observe. And she really does have the most incredible attitude. But the negative aspects of people's attitude can also determine how their health works out. I like to call it the blame list. So many people have so many reasons for not doing well physically and mentally. They have a long list of reasons for why it won't work for them. It's too hard, too difficult, I don't have the time, it costs too much, I have an injury, my hips hurt, gym's too far from home, I just don't feel like it today, I'm too embarrassed. The truth is, you just need to start where you are and avoid going into denial about it. Perhaps your doctor recommends that you lose a few pounds and you don't put your mind to it. Or better yet, you know you need to lose a few pounds because you can remember how it feels to not have the extra weight, and you still don't. We call that neglect in the fitness industry. And here's the problem with the blame list of reasons for not being healthy. Most people don't put themselves on it. They focus so much of their attention on their business and their family and their finances and their schooling and their gatherings and their negative relatives and thoughts and emotions that they completely forget to blame themselves in the process. They blame all that they have to work with besides themselves when that could be the game changer for them. Do not neglect the only body that you have to work with in this life. One of the hardest things anyone can ever do is control their thoughts and emotions. And there's no excuse but your own if you choose not to take care of yourself and you end up with random stress and annoying bodily issues that take away time from what you wish to do with your life. And I get emotional just talking about this. It's in the language and the way you speak about it. You can be in shape, or you can be out of shape. You can be stress-free, You can be stressed out. You can ride out the day with a grateful attitude. Or you can slump into the corner of your couch and take out your frustration on the people closest to you. The major difference is the way that we perceive how we feel and what we're capable of. If you believe a goal is out of reach for you because you're out of shape or you don't have the time, then that will surely be true for you. And I'm here to let you know that nothing will change for you with this unhealthy mindset. However, if you think about it, all you have to do is make some small changes on a daily basis that will help get you to your goals. Stay committed to those changes, and your life will drastically change for you in a positive way. Attitude. Next, number 2 is good nutrition. Good nutrition. And maybe some of you haven't heard this saying before, but I'm sure it's made it to this room sometime or another. An apple a day. Right. In my opinion, food choices are very black and white. You're either attracted to something or you're not. And whether that's in a good or a bad way is totally up to you. Imagine you're stranded on an island and you haven't eaten food or drank any water for 3 days. Chances are your actions for those things are going to be a little extreme at that time. It takes a strong matter of knowing exactly who you are at the core of your being before you can make a decision in that state of mind. But on any given day, if you think you're the type of person that needs to eat something that you know is negative for your well-being, then that's probably the way that life is going to pan out for you until something changes. Simply cutting back on certain foods will make it more of a treat rather than a meal that you're used to having on a more regular basis. And when it comes to food, just ask yourself one simple question. If I'm trying to clean up my bad eating habits, and my favorite food is sitting next to an apple on the table, and I know my favorite food is not good for my body, which option would I reach for first if I felt hungry? Maybe you're just dreaming of the temporary buzz that your taste buds will get if you eat your favorite food. Or maybe you actually are hungry. But I'd say go for the apple. Now let's talk about drugs and alcohol. And these are in their own realms of the nutrition category for various reasons. Drugs can be relaxing, they can be mind-altering, they can put you in a hospital or even kill you. But let's be realistic for a moment and say that anything you consume can kill you if the dose is right. And I'm not saying that you should go off and do drugs or binge drink because that's your own decision. But at least know your limits. And if you don't already know your limits, you can usually get the suggested dose of whatever you're consuming from your doctor. However, when it comes to alcohol, I can confidently say that alcohol is a toxin to your body. And that's based on my own personal experience. Once the alcohol enters your system, you might get a little temporary buzz within the first few minutes, but it soon leads your mind into a depression the more often you consume it. And I know this is totally against what most people think, but I'm here to let you know that it's been found to have literally zero benefit to your health and longevity. It's been shown to cause a 4 to 13% increased risk of cancer just by drinking an average of 1 serving of alcohol per day, which is the equivalent of smoking 10 cigarettes a day. However, thankfully, water is on tap here in the US. I look at water as life energy. And I promise, if you substitute water for alcohol, you will feel better, you will stand taller, you will think more clearly, and you will live happily knowing that only you can determine the amount of beauty in each and every moment of your life. Drinking your body weight in ounces of water every day is a good goal to strive for. Water. And sometimes I think it's also safe to say that you know better than your doctor. Because your doctor doesn't understand your thought processes or the feelings that you have throughout your days when they're not around. You should be a mad scientist when it comes to figuring out what different foods and substances do to your physical and mental well-being. Good nutrition. Next is movement. Movement. And here's another big rule that I learned from great-grandma. You may have heard of this one before as well, but if you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Right. Think of your body like it's a business. The only way it's going to run well for you is if you invest in it. And I know a lot of you are financially savvy here, so just like the T+2 day rule, I personally use the rule of 2. I don't go more than 2 days without some form of exercise-related movement. And whether that is cardio or weight training or stretching or simply taking a walk around the block, it all counts. And I know what some of you are thinking. Well, I walk around at work all day. But is it intentionally for your health is my question. That's the difference. You have to want to move so badly that it pulls you towards the behavior to do it on your own. And at this point in my life, I get anxious if I don't exercise for an extended period of time. I feel like my muscles ache and my brain gets all foggy. But I like the thought of avoiding those things by investing in myself. I see the wide majority of people scrolling through life trying to find reasons for doing well through their cell phone screen rather than just doing the basic tasks that are required to do well. And we all know them. You know, love your mom, love your dad, work hard, pay your bills, be a good friend, take care of your health, the basics, like we've been talking about here. Every other ad on TV and the internet has the next best option to get your body in a capable condition. Capable to walk a mile. Capable to do a pull-up. Capable to do a push-up. Capable to get up the stairs. There's simply no limit to the amount of information people have at their fingertips to help get them into great shape. Yet, the wide majority of people don't seem to take action on these fundamental disciplines on a consistent basis to help get them to their goals. And I kept asking myself, why? And I have great news. I have found the answer. Too much of our attention is focused on the tragedies that happen in our world. There are too many tragedies that come to mind when I let the thought enter my brain because of the media. But I'm a certified fitness trainer. And quite honestly, I don't even know what the obesity rates are anymore because I have lost interest. I have a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. And what I learned in school was how unhealthy we are. I'm not focused on that information anymore. I'd like to focus your attention on the more important side of this issue. I'd like to focus your attention on how easy making these healthy decisions can be. Working out is like a drug, and it's one of the best kinds. It releases what I like to call the happy chemical, called dopamine, into your brain. And dopamine has been said to have an effect on the brain that literally makes you happier. How neat is that? However, the only way to get this little happy buzz into your life is to take action. Take the first step, and then take the second step. Get the first book, and then read the second book. Produce movement. The problem most people have is they simply don't have the information. But I promise you it's out there if you're willing to search for it like you are here with me today. So my new question is, why not take the first step into living a healthier lifestyle so you can grow older and be able to say that you've carried the weight of your soul on your 2 feet until the very last day? Just take a look at the mirror and tell yourself how brilliant it will feel once you've created a body in which you can stand tall with your chin up and your feet stable on the ground. The first step is the conscious decision to make an effort. The rest will unfold for you once you take the necessary steps to reach your goals. So go out and take a walk. Y'all could go right now if you want, I'm just saying. Get a gym membership. Come visit us at Western. We'll hold your hand throughout the entire process if that's something that you need. Hit the weights. Get a personal trainer. Ride a bicycle. Hike to the top of that mountain so you can see the beautiful sunset. Whatever it is, just find your avenue of movement and let it guide you towards a happier and healthier you. You will not regret it. I recommend it. I'd also like to emphasize stretching because people don't stretch enough. And I had to learn the hard way how important stretching is for injury prevention and functional fitness. And also, gravity is super heavy. It's just weighing down on us all day, every day. It's good to balance that out once in a while and decompress the spine. Stretching. Next, number 4 is sleep. Sleep. Now, I'll be honest here, I'm an amateur on sleep. But what I do know is that everything that we do while we are awake is processed in our brains while we sleep. So it's good to come up with daily rituals that are going to allow you to get the best sleep possible. It's very fascinating what scientists are finding out about this. It all begins in the morning when you wake up. Some people like to wake up and hit the snooze button 5 times in a row. Other people wake up, they immediately start drinking coffee. Some turn on the television. Other people jump on social media so they can find all the riots and murders and stabbings and robberies and negative politics on the news. I mean, you can imagine what kind of a day that person is going to have. Load up on all that negative information, expect to have a good day and try to get to sleep afterwards? Not me. I've personally gotten past all that. The best thing that you can do is wake up immediately and get outside in the morning when the sun is rising and view natural sunlight. See your eyes as a large part of your brain. And when your eyes view natural sunlight in the morning, it turns out to be the best way to start your body clock for the day. And what better way to wake up than with the sun? And obviously, if the sun's not shining, you do have the option to turn on the lights, which isn't nearly as beneficial as the real thing, but it's still better than getting ready for your day in a dark room. This alone will make your body think it's closer to bedtime in the evening hours when you should be winding down for the night. And on the flip side, it's also good to go to bed at the same time each night as well, so your body can become more accustomed to this schedule of going to sleep at a certain time. Also, avoiding caffeine in the afternoon is another good way to get better sleep. Coffee, green tea, energy drinks, they all contain caffeine. And caffeine is a stimulant. And stimulants work to make your body feel more awake and alert. Caffeine also has a half-life of about 6 hours, which means that half of the amount of the caffeine that you consume will still be floating around in your body 6 hours later. So avoiding your late afternoon pick-me-up, I'd say anything after 2 p.m. is another easy way to get better sleep. And I know some people think it's cool to sleep only 3 or 4 hours a night as well. But in reality, if you're not getting the 7 to 9 hours of recommended rest each night, we people in the fitness industry will consider you to have fallen behind. Because not only does your body recover from the previous day while you sleep, as I said earlier, it allows your brain some time to process the day and get some much needed rest as well. Sleep. And by the way, your brain is what magically controls everything that goes on inside of you without you even having to think about it. And you know what I call that? I call that a miracle. Next, number 5 is breathing. Breathing. The last and one of the most important of the 5 fundamentals of health and fitness is breathing. And I know that sounds cliche, but honestly, people forget to breathe. Especially people that work in front of a computer screen a large portion of the day. And it's just the same for cell phone screens or any other screen. Their mind is triggered into thinking more about whatever it is on the screen that they literally forget to breathe throughout the day. And if they're aware of it, they might catch themselves taking in a large amount of air every few minutes and letting out a sigh. Some people forget to breathe so much that they trigger a response called yawning, which I know you're all familiar with. You know, your muscles need oxygen just like you do. And many people are very shallow breathers, inhaling and exhaling for maybe 1 second each way. The average optimal breathing technique ranges between 5 to 6 seconds on each inhalation and exhalation. This gives ample opportunity for you to share in what gives life here on this planet. There are some things that we take so much for granted. And as I said earlier, I get emotional just talking about this. But without oxygen, you get cut. The simple act of breathing has been one of my long-time deepest practices since I began exercising. Some of my most enlightening experiences happened when I was able to catch my breath after a long run or a good exercise routine. Any practice of prayer, meditation, or deliberately sitting down and focusing on your breathing is another great way to quickly relax your body in stressful situations too. It's good to have somewhere to go in your mind and reflect when life gets difficult. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. And just like Great Grandma says, there has to be some amount of faith at the beginning of each day that says it's gonna be okay. Stressing out over the little things that happen to everyone in life, it isn't worth it. And now that's my opinion. And I hope you'd agree. Don't forget to breathe. Let's do it together. And feel free to participate. Breathing in, we realize how beautiful this body truly is that encompasses our life. As our lungs work to absorb the oxygen that allows us to live in this very moment. Breathing out, we become grateful. Remember to breathe. Next, and this is the bonus section on how to stand. I know some of you on the advisory board requested I talk about how to stand up. And the interesting thing about standing up is knowing how to sit down in the first place. If you can imagine, it's kind of the opposite of a cat getting stuck up in a tree. You know, it's chasing after a bird or something, and it's not even thinking about where it's going. And soon enough, it's so high in the tree that it's too afraid to get down. It's questioning things like, how did I get up here? Standing up starts with knowing how to sit down. And I've observed the vast majority of people doing more of what I call a plop onto the chair rather than controlling the movement on the way down. You've probably seen it, or maybe you're one of these people where they go down to a certain point and they let gravity do the rest, which makes their head fly back like this as if they're getting whiplash. Well, like I said earlier, gravity is super heavy, but that doesn't mean that you have to take advantage of it like in this scenario. I call that cheating. You use the same muscles going in either direction, so I only use them half the time. And remember again what great grandma said? If you don't use it, you lose it. Right. So here I'll give a bonus demonstration. And I'll just give this information to anybody. This is inside stuff on how to stand. I'll first show you the down phase of the movement because it goes both ways. And feel free to stand up and follow along if you'd like. And if you do participate, become aware of how it feels to stand up on your own. It's good to be aware. Kids squat down all the time, and we were all kids once. We're not learning anything new here, so this will be more of a reminding session. I'm just the one here to remind you. Now, okay, sitting down. First, stand up with your feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Keep your chest up and your shoulder blades pinched in your back with your belly button tucked in. Push your butt back as if you're reaching it straight back to the wall behind you. Bend your knees, and don't let your knees go too far past your toes. Are you breathing? Just checking. Remember to breathe. Control the movement. Let gravity do some of the work, but not all of it. And gently take a seat. Now, how many of you, I'm just curious, forgot to breathe? Raise your hand. That's super neat. Isn't that fascinating? I find that fascinating. So, just the opposite. Standing up. Bring your butt up to the edge of your seat. Same thing here. Feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Keep your chest up and your shoulder blades pinched in your back with your belly button tucked in. Using some momentum, hinge your body forward and bring your center of gravity over your feet. Press your feet flat into the floor. Feel your torso elevating. Stretch your head up to the ceiling. And imagine like you're pushing the earth away from you until you become upright. And if you're unable to do this, you more than likely have some muscle imbalances around your legs and your hips. But there it is, how to stand. In conclusion, I do just have a few closing comments before I leave. We're almost through. It's important to be patient. I know some people like to go all out at the gym 8 days out of the week. And I'm here to let you know that isn't going to end well for you unless you first take the time to take care of your injuries and your posture. First and foremost. Think about whether you're standing up straight throughout the day. And attack your injuries with the mindset that doesn't care how bad it might currently be for you, because there's a new day just around the corner. How you react to your personal situation is for you to decide. Our bodies were meant to evolve and to adapt, to learn how to hunt and catch our food, to be able to sprint a quarter mile in order to survive from predators. Our bodies weren't meant to lounge around all day wondering why they don't work right. And without movement or some kind of action on a consistent basis, there will be no forward progress. Jim Rohn, one of my greatest and favorite online mentors, always used to say, a week of neglect could cause you a year of repair. And if your body were your business and you were the owner, you wouldn't want that for your business, would you? Do not neglect. Take care of your body. Do what needs to be done day in and day out. And it's good to stay humble, but feel free to own your progress once you've earned it. And if you feel like you're having any imbalances in your body, I can assure you they will not go away until you change them. And if you think about it, All you have to do, like I said earlier, is make some small changes on a daily basis that are going to help get you to your goals. And for anybody that is struggling, the choice is up to them if it's worth it to continue doing the same things over and over again, or to try to take a different approach. It takes time, and you have to work on these things every day. But I like to believe that the process is a simple one. It's not if I could, I would. It's if I can, I will. And I'm here to let you know you can. I challenge you to make the commitment to yourself that says, my body is my fortress. Today is the day that I start treating my body with the utmost respect that I know how to give. Every bone, every muscle, every cell in my body is under my control. And I will use my body to create the most beautiful life that only I can imagine, regardless of any outside noise, influence, or disturbance. I have a vision of the future, and the future is well. I super appreciate your time, everybody.